In my first video, My Message to Feminists, I promised that I would provide an elaboration on my one-sentence message, so that's what I'm gonna do right now. For those of you who didn't see, my message was, I don't need to be a Christian to be moral, so I don't need to be a feminist to believe in gender equality. And this is absolutely true. I believe in equality between the genders, just as everyone in civil society should, and I don't identify as a feminist. Now, I know that some progressives out there will try to co-opt my argument, have a knee-jerk reaction, and say, well, that's all that feminism is. If you believe in gender equality, then you're a feminist. And if that's all that feminism is to you, then fine. If you believe in gender equality and want to call yourself a feminist to express that sentiment, or express that gender equality is an important issue to you, then by all means do so. I have no problem with that. However, I do think it's unnecessary to identify as a feminist, because feminism isn't the only school of thought that holds a monopoly on advocating for gender equality. You could take the sentence, I believe in gender equality because I am a feminist, and substitute any number of ideologies in place of feminism. I believe in gender equality because I am a humanist. I believe in gender equality because I am an egalitarian. I believe in gender equality because I am a Marxist. I believe in gender equality because I am a communist. Or you could just be a person who believes in gender equality and doesn't want to ally themselves with any ideology. I believe in gender equality because I am a decent human being, perhaps? When people believe that only feminists can be advocates of gender equality, as many third-wave feminists do, you end up with people saying things like,
if you are not a feminist, you are a sexist, by definition.
And that's simply not true. I am not a feminist, and I am not a sexist. At the end of the day, the word feminist just becomes a moniker, a label that one can slap on oneself to virtue signal to other people, look, I'm one of the good people who believes in gender equality. Feminism becomes not just an ideology, but a social in-group. And if you're not part of that in-group, then you're part of the out-group, the bad people. This is why I drew the parallel between feminism and Christianity in My Message to Feminists. Because although lots of people find good values in religion, values like love, compassion, forgiveness, and justice, I don't need to be part of a tribalistic religious in-group to find those values and be a moral human being, and therefore being part of the out-group doesn't make me an immoral one. And besides, when that in-group is full of crazy, violent, dishonest, and altogether unsavory individuals or ideas, you might not want to be part of the in-group. I think this is what a lot of feminists and religious believers alike don't understand. You can point to the wars and human rights violations inspired by religion, but the believers will still say, well, that's not what my religion is really about, or they're not real Christians, or real Muslims, or whatever the religion du jour might be. You can point to the radical, man-hating, third-wave feminists screaming at people in the streets, interrupting speeches by pulling the fire alarm or smearing fake period blood all over themselves, and you'll still get the Huffington Post trying to do damage control and saying,
hating men and being a feminist are actually not connected at all. Not even a little bit.
They don't understand that people just might not want to associate with their ideology because it has all that baggage associated with it. And they ignore all that baggage and act as if there's no discrepancy between what the ideology should be and what it is in reality, and then flatly condemn anyone who doesn't join the in-group because to them, there isn't a reason not to join. And all baggage aside, that reason might be because the core principles of the ideology are just plain disagreeable. Morality is handed down from a supreme, omniscient God, you say? Well, I could object to that on a philosophical level. Women in the first world are oppressed, you say? Please. As I said in my second video, Nietzsche, Stalin, and the SJWs, there's so little self-reflection in these ideologies that you can still be made out to be a bad person, simply for the sin of disagreement, no matter how correct your ideas may be. I can only imagine that the small minority of the population who identify as feminists and see the world in such a dichotomous way must think that the whole rest of the world is filled with awful, evil, sexist people. Well, as a wise man once said, if you meet an asshole in the morning, then you met an asshole. But if you meet assholes all day, you're the asshole. Cheers, everyone.